having those things around you will inherently help you grow. Like if you're, you know, like we were saying in previous podcasts before, like putting yourself in a position, an environment that's allowing you to become the person that you want to be. And by doing that, you have to become resilient and harder by maybe that person that's telling you to go to the pub every weekend. It's really hard to say no in the beginning, but once you say no and it stops with you, like at the end of the day, you have the control and only you have the power. And I think that for people that want to make a change in their life, like no one's going to make that change for you but yourself. And I think that you really have to hit rock bottom in order, or whatever your rock bottom is, you have to get there in order for you want to change. Because I've seen it with people where I can't change them. I can't motivate them and tell them, come to the gym with me. It's up to them and what their rock bottom is in order for them to make that change. Not only because I don't have time, but because I know for their growth and development that it's on them.
Yeah.
And it's like when you have someone that's got, I don't know, who's might be abusing themselves with drugs or alcohol, like they're not going to make that change inherently. It's on them.
It's important to...
You can be there and be supportive, but it does come down to
That's
them.
it. It's important to realize that you are at the rock bottom in the first place. Like so many people are just there and they think that it's fine, it'll just pass or whatever. Like it takes a lot of self-awareness to realize that, yeah, I'm in a shithole right now. I have to do something about it. I mean, there was a time probably 5 years ago now when I moved to the UK. I used to party all the time. I used to go out two, three.
It's crazy that you used to do that. I just can't picture you doing that.
two, three times a week, drugs, alcohol, and then at one point I realized, I mean, if I'm going to continue doing this, where is this going to take me?
Yeah,
So,
where's rock bottom?
Yeah, that's it. That was my rock bottom. That's it. That was. Some people maybe need to be addicted to heroin for 15 years to hit the rock bottom. I mean, yeah, there's different things, and so say for example if you're just a random guy, a random lad, and you just want to become a bit more uncomfortable in your life, what would you recommend for the person to be a bit more uncomfortable with your daily life and just seek for that resilience and discomfort?
What would I recommend to someone that wanted to create more uncomfortability in their life?
Yeah, just maybe habits, uncomfortable habits. What would you recommend from your own life?
I would recommend doing things that inherently you don't want to do. So,
what was that for you?
I didn't want to get up early. I didn't like getting up early. I didn't like getting out of bed. Still don't like getting out of bed. I hate it. But
how could, like, if we would talk about, so there's seven days a week, how many days a week you getting up?
Early.
Yeah, as soon as the alarm goes off, how many times you get up?
Bro, if you saw my snooze alarm, like you'd be like, this guy ain't never getting up. I'm not a morning person, but
you love mornings.
Yeah, and but I know that in order for me to have a successful day, I need to get up, go to the gym in the morning, and get on it.
Yeah,
I don't do that all the time because it's horrible, but I know that that's the test.
That's it.
That's the shit. Or I don't want to work late tonight. I want to go and see I want to go and see my friends. I want to go and, you know, not be stuck in a kitchen all the time. But I know that that's why it's so like individual and so personal. Everyone's journey in terms of what their resilience is and what, you know, what that looks like for everyone, because everyone's challenges are different. But I think if you're listening to this and you know what it is that you're struggling with in order for you to get better, I like lean into that twice as hard, because it's easy to go and spend money down the pub and be with your friends. And it's a lot harder to say, no, I'm going to go work on this side hustle or I'm going to go work on whatever it might be, going to the gym or getting physically fitter, or
doing the podcast
on a Monday night, or writing a book, or whatever it might be. It's so much harder to do that. But I know that it's for those people that want to do things and can't, and then end up going to the pub anyway. You'll be thinking, oh, why didn't I do that? It's on your mind.
Yeah.
But it will only happen when enough is enough.
Exactly.
I think for that person to actually want to change, or you might not change at all.
I guess it's very important to find those little things. For me, those little things was climbing the stairs in the morning when I'm getting out of a tube. Cold showers is another thing that I hate it till this day. Waking up in the morning is a perfect example, and I'm really, really bad with it. I try to not snooze, but I do snooze quite a lot, which I want to improve in 2024. I said that in 2023 as well.
Did I say every year?
So I'm not perfect. I'm not gonna sit here like I'm gonna pretend like I'll do everything on point. Another thing, martial arts was probably it was definitely the best decision I've ever made in my life to start doing martial arts, and what it provided for me is discipline, emotional regulation, and then also facing fears and adversity. So when just getting into martial arts gym is one thing, but then when you train and you know that you're going to fight, there's just for me, it was a completely different level of anxiety that I experienced, because I knew I'm going to fight that guy on that day at that weight, and just going to bash each other up for like 5 rounds. And that was just extremely scary for me. But then I'm not saying it's not scary now when I'm preparing, but I can regulate the anxiety a lot better. And with the stressful situations, like just any stressful situation at work, I just handle a lot better than I would if I would not have this preparation of martial arts, I guess. Discipline, another thing. I get up, I go to work, and after work I go gym, I eat. I try to eat as best as I could, and that's what martial arts provided me, that discipline, and it's just, again, the emotional regulation. And I guess it's very important to find your own thing. Your thing would be just gym, right?
For sure.
You go gym every morning.
Yeah.
And then also it gives you as well emotional regulation as well, I guess, because you release stress hormones, and the discipline aspect of going to the gym is just invaluable.
Absolutely. And like it's that emotional regulation, and it involves responses to life's challenges through our ability to manage our emotions. So it's like building resilience to withstand burdens, but also understanding which emotions are constructive and which are not. So it's about kind of learning to be less reactive and enhancing your capacity to endure discomfort. So embracing curious acceptance and progress along the path of self-discovery. So if you think about stress coming in, which is your chemical reacting to something, like oxytocin is being released, I think that's what it is. Like if you're reacting to something that's stressful, it means that you care about it. And that's good, because when we recognize that, it's important to understand that is a chemical reaction that our body is having, but it's having the power to decide where our time and mental energy go. And I think that's what creates resilience, is when you've got something coming in that's unavoidable and you approach it with acceptance. Stress fundamentally isn't, like, it's not enhanced. We're kind of trying to look at it as a point of excitement instead of burden. And that was a big thing for me, because a lot of resilience training came into when I was faced with an opportunity, being like not stressed out or upset by it, but trying to change the emotional reaction or response to it to shit, okay, my body's having a reaction to this, it must mean something to me. Why don't I look at it as an exciting thing? Which is really hard to do, but it's never handed to you. You can't just magically turn that into something that's exciting. It's gained through life experience and your lived experiences. And I always try and think of it as like resilience being like when you see one of those leaves that have got those really fine hairs on and you see like the raindrops kind of fall off the leaf. It's almost like beating off it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think of that, the problem's not absorbed into the leaf, it's just gently rolls off. And I think that that's kind of what resilience is giving yourself that skin that allows the problem to roll off, not absorb it. You're kind of just letting it roll past and you're learning from that.
Yeah.
And I think it's that sort of emotions. We have a thought that comes in, we try and attach an emotion to that thought. It changes our physical state and we then behave or execute to what that is and then results back to the thought again. So it's kind of changing your emotional response to the obstacle that comes in